Okay, ladies and gentlemen, remember this is linear programming. So on Tuesday, you're going to have 3 questions. All right, they're going to be very similar to this. All right, you're going to have this problem deals with Ingrid planning to start her own home-based business. Okay, what you're going to do is you need to find the objective function, which is usually in the last sentence. Look within the problem to look for the constraints, and then once you graph it, you're going to look for the vertices. And then once you find your vertices, you're going to plug them back into the objective function to find out to answer the question, probably the very last sentence. Okay? So you'll have Ingrid. You also have English, which consists of a short answer and essay questions, so 2 parts. And then again, you have a concession stand for hot dogs and foot-long hot dogs. Okay? So let's quickly go over the football and soccer problem. Real quick, this last sentence, what is the maximum amount of money Josh can earn by playing these sports? These sports refer to football and soccer, so those are your variables. Remember, you must always, always define your variables. So F is going to equal football, and S is going to equal soccer. Okay? Now every question is going to deal with this. Now, remember, football and soccer, according to here, can only be a maximum of 15 hours. So football plus soccer is less than or equal to 15. Remember, he wants to spend between 2 and 5 hours playing soccer. So soccer has to be greater than or equal to 2 hours, but he doesn't want to spend more than 5 hours playing soccer. So soccer is less than or equal to 5 hours. And then, of course, he also states that he wants to devote much more time to football than, at least as much more time to football than to soccer. So football is going to equal soccer or be greater than soccer. Now, when you convert these to X, Y, like some of you have done, since we're going to choose, since football or soccer don't depend on each other, either one of them could be X or Y. So in this case, X plus Y is less than or equal to 15. I'm going to let the X equal the football. So that means that's going to be here on the bottom. Football is going to be at the bottom. S is going to be my range. Here, Y is greater than 2, just like here. Y is less than or equal to 5, just like here. And X is greater than or equal to Y, which is just like this one. And you can switch this around and make it look like Y is less than or equal to X, which is your parent function with an inequality. Now, when you graph it, try to graph your, solve each of them for Y, or you can use the cover-up method and graph your intercepts. Now, you can use your calculator or not, doesn't matter, these are some easy questions, but what you want to do is make sure you understand the shading. Like this one here, if I were to solve for Y, I get Y is less than or equal to negative X plus 15. So I'm going to start at 15, it's a negative slope, and the Y's are going to be less than, so everything's going to be shaded below. Okay, on this one, Y is greater than 2, so shading's above Y is greater than 2. This one, shading is below Y is equal to 5. So we have below, below, and above this one. And then, of course, less than Y is equal to X, so on the bottom side of this one. And so notice this is my shaded region. This is my feasible region. You find the coordinate points. Write those down over here in the vertices. Once you have done that, you take your objective function, put it in a little table like this. Use your vertices and plug 2 in for football, 2 in for soccer, and so on and so forth. This will be your F, comma, S. So plug those into the objective function, and what you're trying to answer, like it says here, is what is the maximum amount of money? Well, once you look at your data, after plugging those points in, notice that 50 is our max. So what does that mean in the context of the problem? That means we spend 10 hours practicing football, 5 hours practicing soccer, and you write it in a complete sentence. The maximum profit can be obtained by practicing football 10 hours and soccer 5 hours. All right, so make sure you do that. Let me show you real quickly. Betty, this was your homework. The last sentence was to maximize the amount she earned. So we want the maximum. How many hours should she work at each job? Well, notice the only thing that, since we're talking about money, notice that these are the only 2 things that deal with money. 15 hours for programming, 10 hours for tutoring. So I'm going to let P equal programming and T equal tutoring. So $15 per hour for programming, $10 per hour for tutoring, and that gives me my profit. That's my objective. Now, you can read the rest of it. programming and tutoring has to be less than or equal to 20. Your programming has to be greater than 3 hours, but less than 8 hours, because it says so right here. And then, of course, your programming, you always want to give more time to tutoring, so that means programming is always going to be less than tutoring. Now, I kind of made a mistake on this one. This line should have been a dashed line. Should have been a dashed line, because programming is always less than tutoring. So notice, I have the shaded region. I pick out this point and this point. Go ahead and pick out these 2 points. They're not going to really matter because they're not part of the solution, because this should be dashed. It should be dashed, and in fact, I can make it as such. We can do this right quick, and it'll dash it. So, all right, there's our dashed line. Go ahead and make your table. P is equal to 15P plus 10T. And then whatever your X and Y are, or your P and T are, go ahead and plug those in. All right, that should be enough information for you to get started on these 3 linear programs, and I will see you Tuesday. Thank you.